Hi there, folks. This is just going to be a quick one on how to get your computer configured so that you can run vLabs. All right, so the first thing I'm going to do is I'll open up my browser. I use Chrome, but it will work with any um, browser that you happen to use. And what you're going to navigate to is uml.edu and then type in /IT. That'll get us to the information technology webpage. Now, once you're there, you want to go down here to services by category. So we'll click on that. And in here, there's a couple things. Well, you've probably been here before, but here's vLabs. But before I do that, let me just jump down here to software. All right, so you as a UML student have all your software, but what we're going to do is we're going to come back to vLabs. All right, so vLabs, clicking on that tab. So there's lots of information here. So you can access vLabs online. There's some videos on how to do it, additional software, etc. Really, the only thing you need to get into is access vLabs. So I'm going to click on access vLabs online. So once you click on that link, you're brought to vlabs.uml.edu. So you have two options here. You can install the VMware Horizon client, which is what we're going to do. You can access it straight through your browser. This is not the way you want to do it, especially if you're running SolidWorks. It's a little bit more unstable and it's a lot more flaky. So we'll go ahead and we'll install the VMware Horizon client. So this is the one you want, the Verizon client for Windows if you're running a Windows machine and if you're running a Mac. So I'm going to go to my downloads. There is only one, so we're going to go download now. And I'm just going to save it to a convenient place. I don't have my downloads go directly to the downloads folder. I like to always drop them on the desktop so I know they're there. So I'm going to go ahead and do that. Okay, so once you fully have it downloaded, you'll see it's showing up here on my desktop. So I'm just going to, I'll shrink down the window here and I'll just double click on the installer and we'll let it do its standard installer business. So just do your standard, again, feel free to read the privacy agreement and license terms, but I know most of you won't, so I'm just going to agree and install, and it'll go ahead and do the installation. All right, so once it's finished installing, you'll just click on the Finish button. It's going to insist on restarting. I'm not going to do it right now. It really doesn't matter as far as I can tell. I mean, obviously I'll restart my machine at some point, but I'm not going to go through the restart process right now. So I'll say restart later. All right, so once that's done, you'll see that there's the Horizon client is now sitting on your computer. Let me just bring it out here to the middle. I'm going to get rid of the installer. I'll throw that in the recycle bin. And now I'm going to go ahead and double click on the VMware Horizon client. All the VMware Horizon clients, this is what you'll see. So you just click in here to add a server. So I'm just going to double click in here, and the server is vlabs.uml.edu. So we'll click on connect. It gives you a little warning that they're expecting a lot of people to be using it, but that's why they upgraded the system. So I'll say I'll accept. I'll put in my UML credentials and log on. Okay, so you're not going to see all of this. I worked with the guys over at IT, so they have me access to all of what they're calling the different pools. So the only ones that I believe you will see would be, you will see general engineering and you will see learning commons. And you should see mechanical engineering, and I believe it's V2. You might also see physics, but I think those will be the only ones that you're going to see. So I'm going to click on Mechanical Engineering V2. and it's going to go ahead and load a desktop. So what's happening here, this is a virtual machine, so you're essentially tunneling into UML, and you are running a Windows machine on their server. So the only thing that's transferring back and forth right now is video. And it's smart video, of course, so it doesn't transmit everything. It only transmits what changes on the screen as you're going through. Now, the way I have it configured, let's explain what that just was. That little window that came in is logging your session into your OneDrive account. So let me quickly go over that. So now you're in vLabs, and we're going to go here to our File Explorer on the bottom. And in here, you will see when you click on this PC, you will see that you have a number of drives that are available to you. All right, so this is the collaboration drive. Anything you put here, anybody else on the network can see it. So if I click in here, there's 1,000 things in here. So I never use it, but students like to drop things here. This is your storage. So this is what's called your K drive. So this is local UML storage. So it should be, quote unquote, a little bit faster, but you don't have access it outside of vLabs. OneDrive, however, is your OneDrive. You all have a OneDrive account. And if I click on OneDrive right now, these are my files in OneDrive. So anyway, these are the drives that you have access to. My suggestion would be to utilize OneDrive while you're in vLabs, and then you can always access those files anywhere else as long as you have access to a computer that has internet access. All right. So now if we come down here and you click on your open your files, I've created this such that all the programs that you're most likely to use will show up right at the top. Probably none of you are in a class where you'd be doing Abacus right now, but you will in later classes. The Adobe Suite, I didn't put everything here. There's Illustrator and Photoshop. Again, same thing. ANSYS is the program that you'll be using in higher level classes. But we have an access to AutoCAD. I don't use it, but it's available. Mastercam is a CNC software that you might use a little bit in Mech 2020. And then there's MATLAB, SolidWorks, and various other tools. I like to have the snipping tools available to me. And this is Mathematica. It's not, let me see if it actually launches. Okay, so that's not there. So looks like they have it posted out here, which is fine. All right, so that's basically how you're going to use vLabs. Let me go ahead and start up SolidWorks just to show you. So here's SolidWorks 2019. I can click on it here, or I can click on it using the shortcut out here on the desktop. All right, so here's your standard interface, and I'm not going to get too far into it right now. I'm just going to show you a couple things. So I'm going to go in here and create a part. And I just want to show you the graphic capabilities and how fast it's working. But for right now, I'm just going to create a new sketch, say on the front plane, and I'm going to just make a rectangle here, put some dimensions on it. And I'll extrude it at a distance of 5. And then I'm just going to create a sketch. And I'll just create a little circle here. Actually drag it down so it hits that corner. And I will make an extruded cut. And I'm not going to go all the way through the object. I'll go to about there. All right, and you can see now if you're running this on your own machine, you would not see all this nice little graphics shadowing and things along these lines. So this is all due to the fact that they're running really nice processors on the in vLabs right now. I don't see any of those things when I'm working on my machine at home, because it's just, I don't have the cool graphics capabilities. So you have a lot of that stuff there. I don't like ambient occlusion, so I'm not going to turn that on. And that's it. So basically, and then to get back out of vLabs, well, let me see. So if I wanted to save this right now, I'd go ahead and save. And the question is, where do I want to save? So you don't want to save anywhere here. You want to click on this PC, and you want to go to your OneDrive, and maybe you'll create a new folder, call it Mech 2010. And I'll go into that folder and I will say first part. Okay. And now my part's there. And it's accessible from anywhere. I think that's all I need to cover right now. So we've covered vLabs. I just gave you a quick look-see into SolidWorks. Oh, and by the way, so you're on your machine right now if you're running this at home. So you have this little toolbar on top. I forgot to mention that. So in here, it's accessible, but you can always shrink the window down, and you're going to be running another machine inside your machine, which is kind of nice. And now you have those options up here. So some of the different options. If you are having problems with the way it looks on your screen, you may want to unclick allow display scaling and then turn it back on again. You want to have display scaling, but sometimes, though it looks like we're running a new version of VMware, so I think it'll probably be okay. If you want to connect a USB device, you can do it so that it would automatically connect when inserted. Basically, I have a USB on my desk right now, so I'm going to click on that to automatically connect when inserted. And if I turn on or plug in my USB stick right now, I should be able to see it right now. So if I click on this PC, and oh, there it is. There it is, right there. Yep, these are all the 3D print files that I've been messing around with. So that is what I'm running right now. So that's pretty cool. And other than that, I think I've pretty much covered everything that I want to cover. If you are running a dual screen system, you can check, you can decide how many screens you want to use. So I'm just going to I'm going to close out of SolidWorks right now. So here, listen what it says here. Are you sure you want to disconnect from this desktop? You may lose your work. The desktop will be shut down in 30 minutes, meaning that you have 30 minutes. If you shut down and walk away, it'll keep your session active for at least 30 minutes. And so if say your battery dies on your laptop or something, you're not sunk because your session isn't done. You just log back in. So let me just double click on the Horizon client here one more time. We go here first. And after you log in and before you choose which pool you want to be, you have some options here. And these are the options basically right now that you want to connect. VMware Blast is what you want. Don't mess around with these. But this is your choice of display. So you can either have all monitors, full screen, window large. You have different options. So I default to all monitors. And if you want, and you don't want to, if you know you're always just going into mechanical engineering, you can turn this one on to auto connect to this desktop, and you basically will bypass this screen all the time. So again, it's one of those options. And there's a few other little things you can play around with here, but pretty much this is the only one that I really care about, is that you could turn on having all monitors or have it by default come in as a window, just a window on your machine. So over the next couple days, I will be posting additional videos about how to download software and also how to access and what you can do with OneDrive. So just keep checking back, and until then, I'm Professor Sullivan, signing out.